We just received a report about Paris sticker earnings, so let's quickly go over the leaked numbers and what they tell us about the capsule supply, implications for Paris investments, and what I've decided to do with the information regarding midterm risk management. Let's first look at the source to get a sense of reliability for the provided earnings numbers. The report itself was published by Stryker, the editor-in-chief on HLTV. The underlying earnings themselves were given out by multiple pro team sources that naturally want to stay anonymous because of them being contractually obligated not to talk about the exact sticker numbers by Valve, as Apex player Styko shared previously, if the primary sources are actually various teams. I think we're good actually believing these numbers. In general, the earnings for teams exceeded $110 million, which is more than the last 4 majors combined. We know that Valve takes a cut of 50% for the earnings, so we can assume capsules worth about $220 million have been sold. If we look at how the total sum is divided, we can see that for the contenders, it's $4.5 million per team plus $250,000 per player. For legends, $3.5 million per team plus $200k per player, and for challengers, $2.6 million per team plus $200k per player. Let's assume 3 things to do some basic calculations for simplicity's sake regarding capsule supply and compare it to the estimates from last year we derived from Biotic and Fiedegic's data. First, let's say the numbers from the report are approximately correct. Second, no souvenir earnings are included in the numbers. And third, no significant amount, or let's say less than 5% of capsules, have been bought prior to the 75% sale, which is honestly based on no data whatsoever, except for previous Antwerp numbers. But I think it's in the realm of possibilities. We're assuming here that the 110 million USD that are mentioned are team earnings alone. That's why we multiply each earnings number by 2. I believe it's meant to be understood that way. Given a few lines above, it's mentioned that Stockholm and Antwerp paid out 70 million USD. We would then be looking at 880 million sold capsules, which, if you consider the assumptions, is on the very highest end, of course. It's open to your own interpretation. How many capsules were sold pre-sale, and if and how much souvenir packages money plays a role in these numbers, so you can adjust the numbers accordingly. We can also calculate the capsules sold by Valve in more detail, with the numbers from the report, which would look something like this. Now let's see what estimates from previous calculations say and compare those numbers. Last time we received updated estimations for unboxing numbers from Biotic was in October last year, and they looked something like this. We used those numbers to get an idea for supply, which I'll explain shortly in a second. Now that the hype for Paris has died down substantially, and we're down around 200 to 300k active players from September, we can look at the rate of change for calculated unboxings from September to October and get a decent feeling for what they approximately are right now. If we consider that in the month of September alone, these were the calculated changes in unboxings, I believe it's fair enough to say that during the last few months, we could be looking at almost similar increases in total. That would bring Legends Teams capsules to about 100 million unboxings, Legends autographs to around 40 million, Contenders Teams to 175 million, Contenders autographs 63 million, Challengers Teams capsules 60 million, and Challengers autographs 64 million unboxings. Again, these values can be adjusted based on how much you trust the calculations, the error range, and the recent unboxing rate changes. The sponsor for today's video is GamerPay. GamerPay.gg is a peer-to-peer CS skins and items marketplace that allows you to trade your skins for no fee when buying with site balance. We're looking at a 1.7% deposit fee via bank and a 2.5% withdrawal fee, which is more than competitive in the current CS space. I've tried buying, selling, and withdrawing myself, and was happy to see better than expected liquidity and volume, as well as a very fast KYC and withdrawal process without any annoying blocking points. So if you're looking to trade skins, make sure to check out GamerPay.gg first. Let's roll with my previous assumption that for every unboxed capsule, somewhere there's one that's being held by investors or other players. That assumption is really out of thin air, but I've seen multiple people somewhat agree, and I do believe it's realistic. So we can multiply each value by 2 and compare those numbers to the numbers we calculated based on the earnings report and get a, well, let's say interesting result. Once again, keep in mind, we're stringing multiple estimations and assumptions together here, so take everything with a rather large grain of salt. But that's what we have to work with for now. I initially wanted to compare the report numbers to the calculations in detail, but that really goes a bit too far on the uncertainty scale, so I'll just summarize it. For most of the capsules, previous calculations were actually on the lower side. For example, Challengers Teams with around 120 million compared to the, realistically speaking, 150 million from the earnings report. We would probably need to reconsider our assumptions of one unopened capsule for every opened one and increase that value by a bit, even if we have significant deviations. I think having these supply calculations early on based on unboxings are valuable to form a solid investment thesis and see what ballpark we're moving in. In general, the report confirmed that we are looking at a pretty tough situation for Paris holders and should really make you question your current investments going forward. Looking into the future, for Copenhagen, at least a few reasons Paris has such a hard time will likely not be the case case anymore, namely the sales period going on for less than 5 months, given we actually have Shanghai coming up in December. Likely not a crazy hype phase with the entire sticker market absolutely blasting as we had in April before Paris, and well, people actually doing more research given the consequences that were felt from lacking research last year. We will have to work with assumptions and estimates early on to get some kind of overview about the supply situation, and also talk about limitations when considering community-based approaches, which I hope I was able to make a little bit clearer in this video. I appreciate all the work the community does, and I'll try to give back every once in a while. So let me know if these numbers change anything for your investment approaches in the comments below. I'll give away a Stockholm face hollow among those comments in 48 hours. Thank you so much for watching, and feel free to check out one of these videos. I'll see you in one of those.